Hello everyone and welcome back to the Smogon YouTube channel. This is Gold Mason and I am here today for an interview with the captain of the Circus Maximus Tigers. It's z0mog. We're going to jump right into a little interview to get his insights on his team, how his draft went, what he is looking forward to this SPL, and more. But first I'll let him talk a little bit about himself.
Yo, I'm Zom. I've been playing competitive singles since like 2012 or 2013 at this point. I mostly play VGC now. I kind of just stick around on Smogon to manage and hang out. But it is always a fun time still. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how my draft came out this season for the Tigers. Hopefully we can do a little 1% better than we did last year with our run to finals.
Exactly. I was about to say you guys made finals last year, came really close to closing it out. Unfortunately, fell 1% short. So excited to see how you guys do this year. I mean, that's just an amazing run anyways. So generally, I want to jump into the auction, especially with how you think your auction came out. What do you think your strengths on the team are?
Yeah, of course. So this year, I really wanted to change up how I did it from last year, where last year we had, I think, 4 players in that range of about 20k. I think my least expensive big buy was something like 18.5k with Gary Oak. We had a 20k Eternal Spirit, Ojama, and like 22k not Ojama, M-Dragon, and like 22k Trosco. So this year, we took a really different approach where the most we spent on any player was only 18.5k, which, as I just said, was my 4th most expensive player last year, and about every player on my team is worth a little more than 10k if you were to average out how much I've spent on every tier. So that was kind of a new strategy that I felt would be effective. We'll see if it pans out or not. So I think my cheapest player this year, or not my cheapest player, I think I only have one player that is like less than about 6k starting this year, which is, again, it feels like a little bit of a leap of faith not to go for some big mega buys, especially when pretty much every SPL has a lot of tie breaks, and traditionally people like to rely on their big mega buys for these tie breaks. I think that my strategy will pay off though, so we shall see.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely the strategy of going for those mega buys, and then the strategy of kind of looking for those value picks and finding the sleeper picks in each tier. So definitely a viable strategy. Which pool did you feel was like the most challenging to plan for, most challenging to pick up for?
That's a good question, actually. I didn't really super think about it as I'm like planning and drafting. I guess because my main co-manager is M-Dragon, he and I planned together. We kind of dealt it out, so I was doing everything Gen 6 and up. He was doing all the Gen 5 and down. So we kind of gave each other. I gave him a 50k budget. I took the 80k budget. That's not a joke either, by the way. So I only was really looking at Oras up, and there were a few picks that I knew from day one that I was going to be getting. 3D wasn't even a contest. I knew after teaming with him in SCL, I was going to get him no matter what. Devin, I knew I was going to get no matter what because JJ was a big fan of his, and I am a big believer in buying players that your players tell you to buy when it comes to like subs and stuff like that. ADV also bad dummy, we were day 1 on him. Keenix, we were day 1 on him. So I'm just looking at it, and honestly, maybe Black White was the one that we were the least confident in. Sergio Aguero. Comp kind of got a last minute DM from him like, hey, you should get me. I will try the hardest for your team or something. Not exactly like that, but because that sounds a little team cancery, but I think what I'm saying is understood. where he was just like, yeah, this is the team that I would most want to be on. So like, hey, sure, Sergio's good at a good black-white circuit. We had a few other black-white players we were strongly considering. Finchinator, of course. Another strat I had was to get Finchinator, help him train 3D and black-white, and then switch him in 3D with OU, because I know Finch wanted to play OU at some point. And then Ruhr was just kind of a wild card as well.
Absolutely. I'm actually pretty good friends with Sergio, so he's definitely had a great year. Yeah, he beat the Black and White Invitational winner in that circuit finals, so he's definitely proven a lot and still got a lot to prove. So, going to be a pretty interesting black-white pool. I'm actually very invested in that this year. But yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Did you feel like anybody was like a big steal? Like you got them
Yeah,
for
for sure.
I already know the
Bad
answer to
Dummy
this. Yeah.
was a big one because he not only went positive last SPL, I think he went I think it was 5-4. It might have been 5-3 or something like that. But coming in, I probably had him ranked at like second or third highest ADV in the pool, and then to see him finish 3K in the auction is like what? So that was really unexpected. So yeah, Bad Dummy was definitely the most conventional steal that we had, I would say. Other steals, there was one other one that I felt like was way under budget from what I would have had him. Kenix, that was the other one. We had him at like a clear number 2 in the GSC pool. I feel like number 2 in any pool should be costing something along the lines of like 18k minimum. So the fact that he went for like 14 is just kind of obscene. But I'm not about to complain about it either.
And the lineup definitely looks pretty strong. And speaking of, the Tigers lineup and whatnot, what do you want people to associate with the Tigers this season? Like, is there any kind of like brand you're looking to establish or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any sort of brand that I want to like chase after. I feel like that would be a little strange to want to chase after any sort of like archetype or branding like that, but I just want to show that we have a good lineup, show that we can go all the way and get the win this year. Finals was a really monumental run last year, given the Tigers' historic lack of success. So yeah, maybe we can go a little further. Maybe we can just get it to finals tiebreak, and then next year we get the win, at very least.
Baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps. You don't want to go from 10th place to first place. That doesn't feel good enough.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, the eyes are definitely on you and the Tyrants.
Yeah.
After the finals matchup last year, we put out a hype video recently that I felt was pretty cool. It was that went through all of your games last year, and they were all really great games. I watched them live as well.
Finals last year. I've watched every SPL as a participant since 8, and from just a pure games perspective, like I know this is maybe a little biased, but I seriously thought last year was probably the most memorable set of games. Every game was just a steamer. Like there were maybe like 1 or 2 stomps. Like maybe the Poex Sinnoh game was a little bit of a stomp, and I think there was one other one that I was like, yeah, I wouldn't be good for the history books, but the rest were just crazy back and forth. The comp versus Don Salvatore, Trosco versus Luis Paco, London versus CBB, where Gary versus Damien. Yeah, we just had some crazy good games last season in finals.
Yeah, the Luis Paco game was one of my favorites.
Even the Solwyn Sensei game, if I remember right, it came down to something insane, like a flinch or a 50-50, but it's a little hard to remember at this point.
Absolutely. Kind of in that vein, obviously SPL is all about storylines and about how, every year we get like the best of the best, the highest level of competition. And did you have any storylines that you'll be following this season, or anything interesting that you're excited to see, or even just like newcomers to SPL? Is there any that really stick out to you?
Sure. One thing that's kind of cool is last year's Sun and Moon felt way more raw. That's, if you know me at all, Sun and Moon is like my baby. I think I'm like second all-time she wins in SM for Smogon. Maybe number 3, I don't remember. But so that's the tier I follow the most besides my own team's games. And last year there were a lot of rookies. Like just looking at the power ranking list, the power ranking list didn't end up being the exact starting list, but Genius X, Zaza, Quilly, I think, Devin, Sinnoh were all SPL rookies last year playing Sun and Moon, and then this year there is only one rookie, and that rookie is also in like top 4 of Masters right now. So while he is a rookie to SPL, like he's very clearly a step up above your traditional rookie. So I'm gonna be really interested to watch just how much better the Sun and Moon pool looks. I think we'll get some good games there. I don't know if I have any like traditional storylines that I'm interested in. Things like team drama, not super my thing. I'll just throw out one. I'm gonna predict one that I hope comes true. I would like to see both the Bigs and the Tyrants miss playoffs because there is a lot of reason to think that both of them will make it. They have pretty good lineups coming in. I guess this is a storyline that Tony, ABR, XCal only signing up because they wanted to make the Bigs a playoff team. And then that failing, I think, would be kind of funny. Like, no disrespect to them, of course, good friends, but it would definitely be funny if even what is one of the best managers of all time and Tony couldn't make the Bigs a playoff team, then it might be time to rebrand, you know?
That's very funny, yeah. But want to wish the best to him. Yeah, no, I think that's about all we wanted to ask you. Thank you for sparing the time.
Happy to, yeah.
And I'm excited to see how the Tigers do this year. Last year, you were my number 1 favorite to win the tournament, actually.
Oh, that's so sweet. That was even my own team's number 1 favorite.
One of my friends was your GSC last year, so
okay.
I really followed. I followed pretty much all of your guys' games, so I'm excited to see how you guys do this year. And thank you again for sparing the time. This has been Gold Mason and z0mog for the interview for the Circus Maximus Tigers, and we will see you guys next time.